Today, we're getting the east border in order.
We're adding roses and hydrangeas.
And annuals. Welcome to our garden here in Zone 6A, upstate New York. We just finished a rainstorm, and boy, did we need it.
It was pouring.
We went from being drenched 2 weeks ago to absolutely no water the following 2 weeks, but we are ready to plant and take you along for the journey as we put the east border in order. You can see the centerpiece of this border is our Tromnar blue spruce, which is a hybrid between a hoopsii and a Serbian spruce, if I'm not mistaken, right, Christopher?
Yes, it is a Serbian spruce mixed with a blue spruce.
Oh, blue spruce. At the bottom, there has been rabbit damage. Over the winter, the rabbits just went wild in the garden. I do see new growth starting down there, so we're gonna leave it for this year. If it doesn't really fully reboot by the end of the season, I think next year we'll probably just prune them off. But in the meantime, we're gonna add a layer of taller annuals between the Tromnar and this drift of oh so easy peasy roses to help mask that damage by the rabbits and allow it some time to regrow. We've got great things we're adding in today. Christopher grew these castor beans from seed. He's very proud of them.
Yes, and I grew them last year and found out they do need to be staked, so the stakes are laying right in front of them.
We are prepared this time. Stake your plants when you plant them. Believe us, lesson learned. We're adding in this annual from Proven Winners. This is Augusta Lavender Heliotrope, grows 12 to 24 inches tall. It was a little dry. Don't judge it by what it looks like right now in the can.
That's the same place we planted them last season, if I'm not mistaken.
And they did very well. Super popular with the pollinators. Now, bad news. Our Let's Dance Lovables passed away. RIP Let's Dance Lovables. They didn't just die to the ground. They straight up died. And we're not quite sure why. We know we lost a high number of plants this winter due to the icy cold winds. So it's not necessarily that they couldn't handle the cold temperature, because we actually didn't get that cold. It's that drying killer wind that we experienced. So we're gonna chalk it up to that. And in their place, we're planting that blooms on something that blooms on new wood. This is a brand new variety. I don't even think it's released yet. It might be available next year.
This comes out next year.
This is Incrediball Stormproof, which is an improved version of Proven Winners Incrediball. And what they improved about it is they have strengthened the stems. So those big white mop head blooms, sometimes, especially in our garden where we're located with the amount of heavy storms we get, they will flop when they get wet. But the purpose of these, this breeding improvement, was to prevent that from happening. So they are Incrediball Stormproof. Really excited about that. And then we are adding in this gorgeous mini drift, this trio of oh so easy lemon zest rose.
I picked this one.
He picked them. Now normally we put our roses kind of to the front so that we can smell them, we can deadhead them and take really good care of them. But one of the great things about the oh so easy lemon zest rose, just like the oh so easy peasy, is right in the name. You don't touch them. You plant them, you water them, and then you leave them, and they don't need deadheading. They don't need anything special, and that's why they're gonna make a great mid-border layer. Then, of course, favorite we plant every year, rock and play in the blues salvia, and then we'll get into that one a little bit later, a new for 2026 annual we can't wait to share.
So my Impala castor beans have gotten quite big. I planted them earlier than last year so they would get some good size on them before they went in the ground. These can get upwards of 8 feet tall. And like Eric said, last year, some of them weren't staked. Well, all of them weren't staked, but some of them really collapsed and they didn't give us this full billowing appearance that we wanted. So all I'm gonna do is auger out a little hole, add in some of the Proven Winners continuous release plant food, which we're gonna do in all of our annuals this season, in ground and in containers. Add in my little green stake, mallet that in, and then I'll attach it with the tapener.
Now we saw some of these planted last year at Chicago Botanic Gardens when we went to visit Bethany, Chicago gardener, and her husband, Andrew, and we couldn't believe the size of them.
They were tremendous.
And we spoke to the gardener that was tending to them, and they said, we'll let you drill. And they said they just fertilized them extensively, and they just got so enormous. I don't know if we need to make them as big as they were there.
No,
but
I don't think so.
yeah.
And then honestly,
that is a shaker cap, by the way. If you just pop the lid open.
Ooh, good, good, good.
Yeah, and then I've just been doing like 3 or 4 shakes in the holes. I know there's like a measuring spoon and stuff, but
That's, I mean, this with the size of these things, these are not a traditional annual.
yeah,
Whoa, look at the roots on that.
gorgeous.
I just remember last year, I was pretty specific with where I planted them, but they got so big so quickly that ultimately it kind of didn't matter where they started. They just choose where they go.
They're just gonna kind of be out and about along the back of this border. We've got a nice stake.
And yes, it's really big and obnoxious looking right now, but not for long.
That looks good. You did it very straight up and down, much better than I would have done.
Taping her. And 1, 2, and that will do this nicely. Honestly, it really only needs, I'm doing it very loose on this because the trunk gets so thick, and I really just need it to get about this tall, and then it's strong enough to do its thing.
All right, so we gotta do that how many more times?
Just 5 more.
Oh, okay. I love getting as much planting done as possible before the compost gets spread because you can be as messy as you need to be. But once that compost gets put down,
He becomes a very careful gardener.
I love a neat compost layer. What can I say? Now, castor beans are somewhat toxic, so make sure, well, not somewhat, they are
somewhat.
toxic.
They're
They are toxic. So make sure you wear gloves. Don't touch your face. Don't, pick your nose.
And of course, we do not have outdoor pets, so it's not a concern for us that way either.
Ooh, it's getting dark again. We get wild rainstorms here. I'll pan back. This is what we get, wild storms here in the Hudson Valley. That is what is over us right now. We just finished a big rainstorm. Well,
look at the roots on this one.
Minutes. That's gorgeous.
So healthy. I did a good job in the basement this year.
You did.
You may notice as we go along this season that all those vines I started and the tomatoes and stuff, they got aphids. So I pitched them, but all of the flowers survived. So we still had wins there. I ran out of staples.
I think we're battling another little sun shower.
I think something's coming, but I did get the staples in here.
Whatever it is, it'll be very brief. Because I see a lot of sun on the other side of it.
I'll take it.
Oh, I just saw lightning out of the corner of my eye.
Oh, goodness.
I know there's like a full-on thunderstorm happening to the north of us.
Should I do one right here then?
Yes, one right there. We're getting some rain. We might have to take cover.
We're going to take cover quick.
Because it's passing. See, there's the sun, but there's the storm. So we're going to take cover for a moment. We'll be back. Just adjust this trellis from the wind. We're back in business. Little sun shower.
Little wind.
It's nothing we're not already used to.
Ah, I'm under the umbrella now.
All right.
Set him out into the sprinkle.
I'm okay being in the sprinkle. Now we do have a power planter auger we could use back here. I'm a little nervous about it because we have so much drip and I don't know where the lawn sprinkler irrigation runs under here, but
I think it's a good idea to use the shovel.
yeah, I'm going to use the shovel. So I want to talk about why these are so far forward right now from this shrub. This is a quick fire hydrangea. Nice panicle blooms on new wood hydrangea. It's going to be a lot bigger than it looks right now. So it is probably going to come out here and just kind of kiss the top of these, maybe, I'm thinking.
Pat them on the head, maybe?
Yeah, maybe pat them on the head, which makes me even wonder if they should go a little forward like this.
That's some good future planning.
Yeah.
And there's that little crepe myrtle. Is that a crepe myrtle?
That is a crepe myrtle. I just threw that in the ground the other day. That is center stage pink crepe myrtle. It's supposed to be like borderline hardy on its own, and I wanted to experiment with it because it has that dark foliage, and I like that dark weight that it brings. Sorry, I lost my words for a second. So I'm just gonna dig the holes for these, get them in the ground. We like to add a little rose and flower, coast of Maine, in the hole to help No bathtub effect though. Mix it in with your native soil really good. So I'm going to get to work on this. Maybe Christopher can put down the camera and help.
I'd love to.
Let's check out the roots on these. Oh, pretty good.
Oh, that's really nice. It's not root bound, but it's filled up.
Yeah, they're ready to go into the ground. They're not root bound, but they're ground bound.
Ground bound, and they will be ground
Oh
bound.
my God, remember the ground rounds?
Oh gosh. Anybody around here remember the ground round? Was that nationwide?
I have no idea, but we used to go there and I loved there.
Wait a second. That was your first job, wasn't it?
No.
Why did I think you worked? Oh no, you worked at Ponderosa.
Yeah, that was my very first job.
How long did you last?
Not long. I had to work the register where people came up and ordered, and it was very stressful for a little 16-year-old. So I ended up working in a warehouse instead, building shelving.
Oh gosh.
All right, so there's that. I feel like that's a big enough hole.
There we go.
That's plenty.
It is amazing to see the difference in the soil where previous compost has been used as mulch. We will hammer that message home forever.
Beautiful color. So nice to see this bright pop of yellow. The other reason I wanted to put the Oh So Easy Lemon Zest here was in our other bed that is on the other side of our lawn here. We have Tottering by Gently, which is another yellow rose. So having that repetition throughout your garden, even when you have like tons of plantings in your garden, if you have repetition of color and texture, it's gonna feel very cohesive. Oh, can you just tell me the stats on this, the size stats on this again?
2 to 3 tall and wide, and it's a zones 4 through 9. Nice and hardy.
Yeah. They're a demure size rose.
Continuous blooming and low maintenance.
So these are 3 to 4 tall and wide?
2 to 3.
Ooh, Stormproof gets 3 to 4.
I'm okay with that because it from the, like when you come up the side of the house, you're gonna have So Easy, and there'll be some levels. I think levels will be really nice.
Yeah, anticipating like the different viewing angles is important too, because you don't just view this garden bed from straight on. Oh, I hear sirens. Trees must have gone down.
I would believe it. There was some wild stuff going on.
Our dogwood pagoda almost went down.
Ooh.
Okay. Gorgeous.
Perfect spacing.
Very pleased with the Oh So Easy line of roses as far as literally
Being easy.
being oh so easy. And we are big rose fans, so we don't just put roses in willy-nilly. Higgledy-piggledy.
No higgledy-piggledy roses in this garden.
Stunning. Okay, so we're covering the bottom of the Tromonar from the rabbit damage. My first thought was to put some of the Rock and Play in the Blues and kind of just do one solid drift of Rock and Play in the Blues throughout here. But then I thought we have these new Linamar Coleuses, which is one of our favorites because I love that purple. And I thought these, which get 40 inches tall, will really create a nice backdrop for the gorgeous, bright, intense pink of the Oh So Easy Peasy. And
that foliage contrast is gorgeous. Let me get right in there. Look at that. Beautiful.
sometimes when you put dark in the center of the bed, it can kind of look like a black hole. But I think because it'll be in front of this and behind this intense, I think it's gonna work.
I do too. And I don't think it's a good place for us to put a perennial or another shrub because this year we really want to see if the baby Tromonar bits will grow it down
Yeah,
there.
and honestly, the Tromonar is gonna get wider, so we wouldn't plant anything there anyway, just anticipating its size. I'm gonna zigzag them a touch.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
That would be great. And then pick up right there with the, not unplugged, the rock-ins.
So that they kind of intermingle.
Yeah, I love an
1,
intermingle
2,
drift.
3, 4, 5, 6. Should we do 7 and make it an odd number?
Yeah, because it'll
one
drive us
more.
crazy if we don't. And that leaves us 3 since we had 10 in that tray.
Kind of like that.
I think that'll be good. I
Let me
would
see.
sheet them just the tiniest bit forward, just to make sure that enough light gets in on those little baby branches.
One of the reasons we plant so many annuals in this particular spot is because it's such an important part of the garden as you walk up the east side and you go underneath the arbor. This is kind of the main focal point. And so having these annuals that bloom all season long is well worth the time and investment for us because it's such a centerpiece moment of the garden.
And frankly, it makes it a lot of fun because we get to change it every year.
Now, the Color Blaze series can handle full sun. What's also cool about it is it has been bred to have delayed flowering. So it shouldn't flower until the second half of this season.
Which is appreciated because we do not grow Coleus for the flowers.
Now I've got to somehow maneuver myself to get these plain the blue set up, and then you can plant them.
It sounds like a good idea. I'm pretty sure that these alliums have reseeded themselves because I don't remember planting all of them here.
Yeah, and they are just kind of right around that area and nowhere else. So they must have reseeded themselves, which I'm okay with. It's funny, when we first started gardening, I was so I just wanted to be so controlling about where plants were.
Wait,
And the idea of something reseeding itself just didn't appeal to me. But now I'm just like, let it reseed itself, and then I'll be the judge. I'm glad the sun is blocked right now.
yeah, it's cooled down so much. We're going into a cool spell, which, I mean, a cool spell meaning high 60s for the week, but I'm excited about that because I think all the stuff we've planted is going to get to mellow out, establish some roots before the real heat kicks in of the summer.
Next, we've got our Augusta Lavender, heliotrope. Smells amazing. These annuals got delivered this week and the pollinators have been all over them.
And also, Eric, since you even held them up to share them with everybody and it got some rain on them, they've perked right up. They look beautiful.
They really have. So we're gonna do a nice grouping here. I'm gonna put them pretty close together so they're really en masse.
We love that.
Then,
do you want those to be up towards the front of the border, or do you want to do another low annual in front?
oh no, this is it. If we did something else, it'd be too busy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're gonna do a nice little grouping here. Again, the repetition is gonna help
Tie them together.
tie them together.
Who doesn't love lavender up against a yellow rose?
And we'll kind of like tuck it back there. This will go here. And again, these stormproofs are so tiny that we can plant annuals really close to them.
I like this angle. It's like we are the allium watching him from above.
Yeah, last year we didn't fertilize these and they still did really well.
This year we're gonna have that wet, dry fertilizer hose attachment going frequently.
Oh yeah, that's a cool little thing. Really engaging my core right now, Christopher.
Feel the burn, feel the burn.
I just realized we needed one more short little annual to hedge in the oh so easy peasies. And we use Artist Blue Floss Flower or Ageratum up front to hedge in our foundation bed every year, and we love it. So this is gonna be a perfect annual to do a mini hedge right here.
I think that's gonna be great. It'll be a lovely bluey flower up against the Anna's Magic Ball. It'll look gorgeous up against the rose. It's a really good choice.
So when I do hedges or small ones like this, I like to find the center of where the hedge is gonna be. Then I like to do the end, and then I like to do this if I don't feel like getting out a measuring tape.
Beautiful. And you know what? There's already drip on half of those spots, so I just have to pop emitters in.
Great. So we've got these to put in. Then we have the not power balls, the stormproofs. And then we have a really cool annual we cannot wait to introduce to you. creating a little mini hedge in front of a mixed border is also just a really nice way to, grass, to create some tidiness factor. You know what I mean? Visual tidiness. And I think
this is a good distance too that you chose from the edge, because there'll be a little bit of the clean compost in front of it.
Yes.
A very nice tidy border for a pretty wild mixed border of annuals. The last shrub that we're going to be planting in this section is that Incrediball Stormproof that Eric was talking about. These are really hardy. They're zones 3 through 8, and they're going to get 3.5 to 4 feet tall, 3 feet wide. So they are a stout version of Incrediball. They are a very prolific bloomer, which is nice. So even though they're a little bit smaller, they're just going to be a cloud of big, puffy, white blooms.
I'm excited. I'm also, you know what? I think I'm going to put some of this continuous release fertilizer in there with them because they are little babies.
They are little babies, and they're still going to get a little of the rose and flower boosts.
Yeah. Can we skip to the one behind that first and work from the back forward? If you don't mind. I'm curious about these root balls because...
Let's see if there's... They may have been just recently bumped up in size.
So what's good is we already have drip set up from last year from the Lovables.
Get that.
This in here. Some of that. Gorgeous. Mix it all in. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's the root ball. All right, so the hole's too big.
The hole is too big. They're on the tiny side, so we'll place them gently on top of the hole.
Yeah, I feel like these were probably quarts that just got bumped up into 2 gallons.
Yep.
So that by the end of the season, they could be sold as 2 gallons.
Yeah, and since these were something that we're trialing, it's that we're not necessarily getting full size.
Well, yeah, because they're so new, full size might not even be available. That's funny.
So you should actually be able to feel the hole I just started digging.
Oh, and there's the drip.
There's the drip.
It. Okay. Definitely giving these some fertilizer.
Yeah, just a little extra in the hole.
Yep. Oh yeah, these are tiny babies.
They were probably a cutting a year ago.
Not even. I bet they were cutting over the winter.
And there's some buds on there, so this is going to be really fun. We are going to do everything we need to do to get these to be successful.
Oh my God.
Oh
no. There was a bud on that one.
There was a bud on that one. Now, you don't actually need a hole dug now because you just can use your hand and there's already a pre-dug hole.
Yeah, there sure is.
Oh, I hear there's a bird. I think they're called an Aaron bird, but it sounds like there's someone out in the woods yelling Eric.
Like some kid going, Eric! Eric!
Really relaxing when you're out here enjoying the garden.
Eric! These are going to be happy.
The last piece of our putting order in the east border puzzle is the new for 2026 Supertunia Vista Cool Jazz. Our guess is that it's some kind of sport of Supertunia Jazz berry, but this has kind of a lavender petal with a little bit of a yellow chartreusey throat with kind of like a white inner blush kind of thing. But we love vistas, 12 to 24 inches tall. This says that it can space up to 32 inches.
Whoa.
That's big. And since we're going to be fertilizing, this is probably going to be showing off quite well. I really love this flower. We have chosen to add 3 of them to this little corner in front of the cotton ball.
Cotton candy?
Cotton candy.
Cotton ball.
Cotton ball's coming. Cotton candy is the thalictrum that is purple. The white one is the cotton ball. So these are going to fill in this little drift here. I think that's going to be perfect. It's going to ground this corner next to the sedum, next to the Augusta lavender, but it's a really beautiful color. Let me pop these into the ground. I think it's fascinating how the Vista series, every time you plant them, you really have to plan for size. These things get huge.
I know. Luckily, the edge is coming out about 2 inches.
Yeah, this edge is going to get made just a little bit bigger.
But I do like when they spill over the edge a bit. Not too much, though.
Not too much, because then they just get trimmed by the weed whacker or the lawnmower. And then this one here.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. This is going to be a really nice addition. I like getting to try the new big plants because you really get to push them and fertilize the bejesus out of them and see what they're really going to do for you.
Pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. This is coming together.
It is really coming together.
I'm doing my best to imagine that Tromnar blocked. Imagine it with me, everyone. Gorgeous. So now we're just gonna fuss with some drip and then water everything in.
That's all we have to do. And then I think we've decided that we're going out to dinner because we have worked hard today.
I am watering things in. Now, Christopher and I are working late tonight, so the deer yard enforcer has been going off on us, so we're a little bit soaked. So as Christopher approaches, I'll probably get wet again, but at this point, I'm fine with it. So we started our adding order to the east border with a drift of Augusta lavender heliotrope that I'm watering in right now, with our oh so easy peasy roses backed by a gorgeous drift of newly noir Coleus that I can't wait to see it grow up and cover the bare legs of that Tromnar spruce. Back along the fence are 6 castor beans Christopher grew from seed Impala castor bean. In front of the oh so easy peasy rose is a short little cute hedge of artist blue floss flower, ageratum. This right here, I don't even know if we mentioned it. This is Anna's Magic Ball. It's a golden arborvitae.
And it stays that color all year.
Brings that gold pop to this area. Our drift of itty bitty baby Incrediball Stormproof. Can't wait to see how these root in. I think they'll be happy. And Christopher added extra water to them because arborescens hydrangeas like a lot of water, especially when they're in full sun in our zone. There's a nice drift in here of Rock and Play in the blue salvia, getting that all watered in, which bumps up to oh so easy lemon zest rose. Check out that color. It's so nice to see it in this area.
Honestly, as the sun is starting to go down, they're glowing. They look beautiful.
I am excited. And eventually the timing will probably pair up with the oh so easy peasy, so they're in bloom at the same time. Actually, they kind of bloom all season, the oh so easy peasy. So
Yeah,
I bet the lemon zest does too.
They have they rest a minute, but even in their rest, they're still blooming.
We tucked a few more Augusta lavender heliotropes in here to have some repetition. There is a small little drift of sedum here that I always forget the name of. I think I've asked Christopher 7 times today.
Rock and Ground, Pride and Joy.
There you go. And then new for 2026, Supertunia Vista Cool Jazz, which is planted in front of our cotton candy thalictrum. I think this is going to be pretty stunning.
Oh, here comes the water. Here comes the water.
Garden enforcer. Well, we did it. We got the east border in order.
I think it looks fantastic. I love that pop of yellow behind us.
And we can't wait to show you how it all fills in and all of it comes to life. So make sure you click like and subscribe. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening.
Thanks for growing with us.